We are live from Hamilton in
And
North
North Carolina.
Carolina
That's
on
right.
on Saturday, not Wednesday, Saturday, March the 18th, year of our Lord 2023. Hat tip to Josh Pate. This episode, as always, is sponsored by Wondershare. In the pinned description, in the pinned comment, I have a link for our affiliate code, Get Filmora, and you guys can make awesome videos like William, the pwned one Piper. Mr. Ryzak, how was your week? You are a busy, unlike me, who just sits down here and plays games and watches sports 24 hours a day. Busy
You
boy.
know, I was just sitting here looking at myself on the screen. I look tired as I'll get out, but it's all good because these are the best days of our lives, taking care of our children.
I'm glad my kids were losers and didn't want to do anything.
I think I told you a little bit last night. Like this week has just been crazy with the back and forth because my daughter playing soccer and now my son plays lacrosse, and their games are not at the same time and not at the same place. And I'm doing the announcements for my son's lacrosse team, so his games are at 4:30. So I have to be at the school at like 3:45 so that I can set up the music and start their intro thing at 4 o'clock. When my daughter has her games, I'm announcing the JV and the varsity games. So I still have to be there at 3:45, except I don't get to leave until like 9 o'clock. So, you work a whole day and then you go do that all night, and then you come home and it's like, got to take out the trash. I gotta pay the bill. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I know. I see it. You got the smallest violin, and I definitely need some cheese with my wine. But I haven't played a lot of video games. The only thing I've found time to play recently is Rocket League, just because it's quick and I can pop it in, then go. But it has been busy, Jeff. It has been busy.
There's a new update. I think I have to look into it from space. I think they added in some more creatures.
I would
or
love
good
to play
guys
that
or
again.
bad guys or something. So, and I know the Piper wants to play, and I think the Raymond wants to play Sons of the Forest or Daughters of the
God, I want
Forest
to.
or Babies
I want
of the
to.
Forest.
I've enjoyed it so far. I'm not very far in it, but it's interesting. There's a lot of things that are hidden within the game. You got to figure out, kind of like Lost. So, I mean, there's a bunch of spots you come to where it tells you to dig, but you have to find the shovel, and the shovel is in like the secret wonders of like a secret wonder of like a secret wonder. So, anyway,
Makes sense.
I enjoy it though. It's fun. And you saw that Valheim is coming to Xbox. I did see that. I mean, it's already on the Game Pass for PC, but I'm not sure if you have tried that game or not, Jeff. You might enjoy that one.
I have not. I have 2 games on the go at the moment. And when I say that, I don't mean obviously every day I bat around a baseball.
Yep.
Although I made I think it was the All-Star game or some futures thing last night.
Nice.
It was a starting pitcher in the futures game and pitched 3 shutout innings in
Look at
the
you.
futures thing in the game. I was like, yeah, baby. I don't think it's the All-Star game yet. I got to look at the calendar. And then I do a few dailies in Super Animal Royale, and then of course in my spare time I drive a truck.
You drive a truck. That's right.
I drive a truck in my spare time. So, but the other game I've been playing, I need to get back to Star Wars, but I've been doing the Batman game,
right?
The
Gotham Knights.
Yeah,
you were playing that last night. I saw that the Euro Simulator is like $5.99 on the Steam Spring Sale.
I think Wednesday night, for those that want to pick it up, I think Wednesday's community stream will be Euro Simulator.
Okay, yeah, it's like $5.99 on the Spring Steam Sale right now. So
yeah,
I'll grab that one because you said it's pretty awkward driving from the other side of the road.
And sitting on the other side of now David Wilson's gonna be like,
car.
"What the hell's your problem?" Because everything is backwards.
Normal.
So when you're sitting there, your GPS is over here, and I keep looking to my GPS, and it's not there, and I have to keep looking back over here. A lot of times I turn into the right lane. I mean, ooh, why is that guy coming at me? Oh, I want to be over here. Right. Trying to do a roundabout and then get off. Yeah, it's a whole lot of effort.
Oh my God, there's
shout out to
here.
Sierra Rose, who joined us on the stream last week driving the truck, and she finally lost her virginity, flipped her truck.
Wow.
Flipped her truck.
Wow.
It was like, Jeff, could you help her? Could you help her get upright. So I had to walk her through, call in the tow truck to get her upright.
Gosh. That's awesome. She's been cranking out some Hogwarts. I know. I saw a picture of her on a broom.
She did what she did. She did William's stream on Wednesday.
That's so
she streamed
good.
for 2 hours. Hogwarts. She had her little
I
bear
love
hat
it.
on. And
Seriously, man, that's like the coolest thing to see somebody that, you know. I think that she's played Wreckfest with us and done some other really cool stuff, right? But she's never like ventured off and done like her own game. And it's cool. She found something she enjoyed. It's got a great story, right? She's having fun in the world, and that's what it's all about.
It is.
We're going to talk about a video game to screen adaptation, whatever that word should be.
We are. What's on the agenda today? What's on the agenda today?
Let's see. You want to pull it up? Am I shared? I think so.
You are. What's on the agenda today? He says, like he was not in the production meeting last night and doesn't have it all scheduled, but
and on the screen, right? So we're going to talk The Last of Us, right? We're going to talk The Last of Us season finale. Hey Jeff, I can't pop it up on the screen.
Oh, you can't? All right.
All
right. There we go.
Nice. Sorry. We're going to talk March Madness because that's like the biggest thing going on the planet right now.
Oh yeah.
SVB files for bankruptcy. This is kind of a naughty one.
I like those TLAs. I like them TLAs. SVB.
Shout out about the GDC, the Game Developers Conference. We'll hit some Did You Hear About stories, and then you are going to give me today.
To quote my friend Tim, I got a banger for you this week.
Oh man, I don't know if you should say that word.
No.
Oh well, we were talking about it just a second ago. Wondershare, right? Got to give shout out to Wondershare and Phil Mora and all the gang. All right, The Last of Us. Jeff, did you play The Last of Us?
I didn't play the game, and because of that, I didn't watch the show. I know William and Suave, shout out to the Man Cave. They have talked extensively about this. But the question I have is not about this specifically. And if you're watching the VOD, you're playing back, comment. What video game series would you like to see as a TV series? On the HBO or the Disney Plus. My choice would be a whole series around Duke Nukem. Every week, aliens dropping down and him saving the strippers and kicking ass and taking the names.
Think of all the cameos in that show.
I know.
There could be cameos for days.
I know. That would be, I think when I'm finished writing my Hallmark Christmas movie, and in my Hallmark Christmas movie, she actually chooses the rich guy back in New York and ditches the hometown dude. She says, you know what, screw you. I'm going to the rich guy. Why do I want to be with a little poor sap in this little dopey town when I could be hanging out with all the rich babes in New York and have a chauffeur? So that's my Hallmark Christmas movie. But then I'm gonna write the Duke Nukem movie.
I think that'd be hilarious. You could have so many cameos. The damsel in distress one week could be like Pamela Anderson, and then the next week it could be Lil Nas X. Like, there's a lot of possibilities.
I don't know what that is, but sure, I recognize the first name. The second name, you're just making shit up.
Of course, you remember the first name because she's Canadian.
Of course, of course.
So I played a little bit of The Last of Us. I tried playing it at the exact same time that I started to play. Oh gosh, William's gonna kill me. What's the other zombie game? Days Gone.
Days Gone.
Days Gone. Sorry, I had the DayZ ad popping up in my head because it's on the Steam sale. So Days Gone. I started playing the two of them at the same time when I had COVID, and I was like quarantined for that week, and I liked Days Gone a heck of a lot better. So I went off with Days Gone for several hours. I tried to get back to The Last of Us before I let my PlayStation Plus subscription run out. it's just one of those games. Like it's got a cool story, but for me, I'm not into the action games where I have to run around and push buttons at certain times to like dodge something. And I don't want to knock that, but it's just not my kind of game. I like fast paced. When I play Call of Duty, I run around. I don't camp. Like I like to move. I like to do things. It's like exercise. The show started off for me. Like the first couple episodes, obviously I knew what was going on because I had played the game and seen it, understood the way that they adapted the game to the show. But then I got kind of lost there for a few episodes. And then that second to last episode really just like brought me way back into it, to the point now where I'm super excited for the second season of whatever they do.
Nice.
With that said, my game that I wish that they would make a show out of is Gears of War. I would love to see Gears of War made as a show.
Gears of War, God of War, pretty much anything with a war in it.
And I can think right now, like right off the top of my head, like the main character that I would probably want to play Marcus Phoenix would be Batista. David Bautista.
Okay.
So there you go. I've thought about that a little bit.
There you go. Yeah, that would work.
Who would play Duke Nukem?
Oh God. I'm thinking the guy. I hadn't actually given it any thought. The new guy that plays Jack Reacher, not the guy that.
Yeah, I like him.
Not
yes.
Not Tom Dickhead Cruise, who's 4'3" and going around beating up 6 foot.
I don't know the guy's name, but he's a big, brawny, blonde guy.
He is.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's awesome. He was funny. That show was really funny.
Season 2 just wrapped up in Toronto. They were filming it here in well, I'm not in Toronto anymore. But shout out to Rue Diggs and the Torontonians. But yeah, they were filming it in Toronto.
Like really quick quips, and he's really smart. He keeps it moving, and then he just kicks ass, right? Like I thought it was a good show.
It was a great.
All right, that's not what we were talking about.
Can't wait for season 2. But that would be if he would be at the top of the list. Yeah. Maybe depending on maybe a Jason Statham.
Yeah.
One of those kind of guys. But Jack Reacher, that he would be my first kind of.
I like that. That's
that
a
guy,
good,
whatever his name is. I forget his name.
That'd be a good cast right there. Good casting effort on your part, Jeff. After your Hallmark movie, of course.
After my Hallmark movie, of course.
Oh well, no,
because Big Ol' Mac will come down and at Christmas I'm watching. I go, no. I gotta wait and see if she chooses the guy from New York, the rich guy, or she takes the hometown dude. Hold on, we're getting to the good part. Oh Big Ol' Mac makes fun of me for watching my Hallmark movies, but what can I say?
Last of Us. If you get the chance to watch it, Jeff, I think you'll probably be along the same lines of me. Like, okay, this is cool. Okay, where are we going? Wow, that was awesome. So.
All I hear is every week people are crying their eyes out every week.
I don't understand that.
I don't know.
I'm nowhere near emotional enough to cry at a movie. So
well, unless it's Avengers or something, and somebody dies.
No, not even then.
Even then, it's like, oh my God.
You want to know what gets me, Jeff? You can ask my wife. If my wife was awake right now, she would tell you. I get excited. I get dead ass excited when things happen in sports that are like celebratory, like when somebody makes like an amazing shot, or when the underdog wins the game, or when there's a big moment and somebody does something. And what's crazy, and this, I don't know if anything does this to you or not, like the hair on my arm stands up, like I get like this body rush of like, holy shit, like all my hair stands up. So like whenever there's something good that happens in sports or something like that, my wife will literally look at me and she'll put her hand on my arm. She'll be like, "You're insane." I'll be like, I can't help it, man. I just love the jubilation that happens when things happen in sports. It's a feeling that I don't know how else to describe it.
I get like that after every Cowboys win.
Oh God.
Especially when I'm on the ground, kneeling, praying, hoping our kicker makes the kick. The end of the game. My sports producer laughs at me because I'm literally on the ground praying. My sports producer.
You guys should call up like Morton Anderson and see if he's still kicking in the farm or something.
Yeah.
You need somebody that's you don't need distance. You need accuracy, right?
It's
That's
true.
where I was going.
It's true.
So,
yeah, it's true.
all right.
We'll have a new kicker this year. So,
well, we're gonna keep with the sports theme. Let's start talking about the madness, right?
yes.
So much has happened so far.
And I tweeted this out. I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before. Can't remember. People always ask me, why do you have 4 televisions in your man cave? Like right there, I can see
Yep.
all 4 of them. And even I tweeted a picture out yesterday. I was working, and from where my office desk and streaming desk is, I can just pivot in my pivoty chair, and I can see the stuff that's going on. People are like, why do I? Because there were 4 games I was watching last night, and they were all very adequate games. Sunday, FAU versus FDU, just how we wrote it up in our brackets.
Exactly.
What Furley Dickinson beaten Purdue, which was good because Purdue was the only challenge I saw Duke getting to the Final Four. Now I see no challenge for them to get to the Final Four.
Did you see Fairleigh Dickinson's basketball court?
I did.
Did you see the picture floating around of their basketball court?
I did.
That I think in itself is the beauty of March Madness, right? Mm-hmm. I tell my kids all the time, like, you never know what's going to happen when you step in the lines, right? Mm-hmm. Anybody can win any given day. It's all about the amount of effort that you put forward and whether or not your coach had a good game plan for you to go with. And people can very easily write off somebody based on the way they look or the conference they play in or, how many points they score a game or have given up a game. But we talked about this a couple of weeks ago when it comes to the playoff time for the NFL and writing up plays. Mm-hmm. These teams have been doing things and adapting and changing all year long. And all it takes is for somebody to walk in the room and turn on the light switch. And amazing things happen. And we see it year after year when it comes to March Madness. You have 64 teams, right? So that's what, 64 times
60,
probably 24.
68 if you count the play-ins on Tuesday.
68 if you count the play-ins. There's probably 20 to 24 kids on a team because of injuries and things like that, right? So you multiply. I mean, you're talking about thousands of athletes that at any given moment could shine. It is one of the coolest sporting events the first week here because, like you said, you get multiple games at the same time. It's going to slow down next week, and then the week after that, it gets really slow. But this initial opening weekend is one of the best sporting watching events
4
ever.
Televisions going with games at all. And I also have the women's on. Shout out to the women's. I've been watching the women's game. I did a women's bracket. Pulling for Stanford and Steph Curry's goddaughter, pulling for her. I can't remember if it was Darryl Rover, my boy Darryl Rover, or FAO. I'm not sure who posted it last night. Purdue's budget last year, they spent $2.3 million on their basketball program. FDU spent $166,000.
And again, it just goes to show you that any given day, anybody can win. It doesn't matter what you have. It's about, what you do. And I put these 3 pictures up here because, you see Furman up there in the top right. They beat UVA, right?
That was the first one.
That was the first one. It was a big upset. Look at this young man's face right here. Like, they know nobody gave them a chance. They know that not one single person, except for the people that go to their school, thought that they could do that, especially because UVA is a storied defensive team, right? I mean, they, for the past 10 years or something like that, they've only given up 65 or less points a game. I think one season a couple years ago, they were giving up 55 points a game. That's unheard of in college basketball. That's ridiculous. So the Virginia defensive philosophy, the players that they bring in, by the way, shout out to the UVA center because he went to my daughter's high school. And nice. I don't know his name. It's Alik something. He's a center. He's 7'1". Anyway, Furman beats UVA. So the look on their face, every single kid, you can look at the kid on the left there in the white shirt. I mean, he's like, dang, the guys that are embracing there, like one is ecstatic, one's just like lost, right? Like he's just like, what the hell just happened? You got this kid crying down here underneath this other one. He's probably the coach's son, like
yeah.
You've got what FDU down here, 20. I put it on the screen because you called it out last night. 23.5 point underdog.
So they're only the second 16 seed to beat a number 1, but they were the biggest underdog to defeat.
What was that other one, Jeff? Do you remember who that losing number 1 team was?
It was only a few years ago, but the Alzheimer's kicking in, and I don't remember.
It couldn't have been Duke, could it?
No, it wasn't Duke.
But the guys from Purdue, I mean, you could see it when that game was wrapping up, like just the arms just instantly falling, like they felt so let down and defeated. But look at FDU, man. Look at these guys. They are pumped, And then you look down there at Princeton, like Princeton. That last 30 seconds of that game was all heart. It was all heart.
Yep. Shout out to Princeton. Both the men's and women's won.
And Arizona had opportunities. It's not like they just could not make a shot. They could not put the ball in the basket. So 3 huge upsets. It's going to be awesome to see. One of those
are going to the Sweet 16. One of those two.
One of those are going to the Sweet 16
because they play each other.
Right.
Because they play each other on Sunday. So one of those goes to the Sweet 16.
Whose momentum and whose game plan is going to be better, and that's really what it's going to come down to for this whole tournament. Who do you ultimately have winning the whole thing, Duke?
Well, why would you think that? Why would you?
I don't even have Duke in my Final Four.
Why? Of course you don't. You probably have UNC.
I don't. I actually have.
Nope,
Alabama.
That's women's. Nope, that's the wrong one. Women's. Here we go. So here's my bracket. Okay. And if I scroll down, look, what a surprise!
Yeah, what a surprise!
What a surprise!
I was feeling really good about myself, on that first game because I picked West Virginia over Maryland. And West Virginia got out to like a 16-point lead. Maryland couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. It was like, yes, I am going to do well this time. I stepped away and I took a meeting and I went back out to the living room and West Virginia was down 2. And I was like, what the hell happened? Like, what happened? You guys looked like you were dominating them. Yeah. And then it was like every game after that was just, it was brutal. I was going to pull up my Final Four for you at least, tell you who I've got so that I can be made an honest man. I've got Alabama, Tennessee, Houston, and Gonzaga in the Final Four.
Nice. So shout out to the women's. I did a women's bracket, of course, and should be no surprise.
The Huskies, Paige Bukers.
Yep.
Think she'll get it?
We'll see.
I hope so. It'll help her legacy. It'll help her legacy. Legacies are important.
Any 4 of those top teams, I think, could get there. But I think, based on their history, I think. Although whatever.
Yeah.
Don't count out Stanford and Steph Curry's goddaughter. So I don't know if you know that so Steph Curry's mom went to school. Her college roommate was, I forget her name. Anyways, so they all went off and whatever and had kids, and so Steph Curry's dad and mom and dad are this girl's godparents. So it's Steph Curry's god sister. So him and his daughter have been at Stanford games when they've been in town and whatnot. So.
Pretty cool to have Steph Curry as a godfather and God brother. Sorry. You're just chilling for Thanksgiving and he just taps you on the shoulder and is like, "Hey, you want to play horse?" And you're like, "Yes."
Yeah.
What kind of stupid question is that?
Yep. Or maybe not, because they grew up and that's all they do is play basketball, so they probably don't want to do that. They probably want to do something.
You look at Lonzo Ball right now. I don't know how much you keep up with the NBA or the balls or any of that stuff, but
that whole crazy family.
Yeah, Lonzo Ball is on his 3rd serious surgery in the last few years, and they're saying that he could probably miss all of next year because he's having like bone degeneration. Like there's like some major stuff going on with his knee, right? And I was talking with a coworker yesterday. His son plays AAU basketball. They were getting ready to go up to a tournament in the Northeast. I'm not a fan of AAU basketball. It's kind of needed today with the way things are set up, but I'm just not a fan of exploiting children, to be quite frank. But anyway, these things are just they're so competitive, and there's so many games, and there's so much abuse being put on a young body because there's this expectation now that they have to perform at such a young age, right? And you're seeing people break down over time. Look at all these NFL guys that are retiring by 25 now. You've seen a huge trend of this happening in the last like 15 years. And I would say that the person that started that trend, started that thought, was Barry Sanders. Because Barry Sanders came out of nowhere and was like, I'm done. It was like, dude, you're 30 and you've got like 10 more great years to like obliterate records. Like, what are you doing? And he's like, nah, man, my health is more important.
More offense. He was also playing on Detroit. So
you might remember, somebody else saying or doing something like that prior to him. But for me, that was like the one that was like, whoa, people like actually, like, you would want to stop playing. Like, you're a professional athlete, you usually play until you can't play anymore. That was the mentality.
Or you're 45, or you're 45,
or you're 45 and Tom Brady.
45.
Gosh. March Madness. I love March Madness.
There's gonna be some more big There's gonna be some more big upsets today. I was pulling for Drake last night. I like how they played in their tournament, and I thought, Drake could pull it up, and they almost did. There was a couple of last second. TCU almost blew it last night. Again, right at the end of the game, they had to hit. They had to hit one with 1.5 seconds left. There was just.
It's hard where I live, you have UNC, Duke, and NC State all within like 20 miles of each other, right? So whenever the three of them do well, it's very good for this area. Like it's awesome to see everybody driving around with their flags on their cars and this and that. But UNC obviously didn't make it, right? And NC State did, but they just fell apart in the second half yesterday.
They played well. They did play. I watched part of that game. They play well.
They played well in the first half. I want to say they were down 2 at halftime. But then Creighton just proved to be too much from the outside second half. But now it's just Duke. And so anytime we go somewhere now, it's just going to be Duke crap. And do you know how much I despise Duke?
I do.
There are 3 teams in the world that I despise. I despise the Dallas Cowboys. Woo! I despise the Duke Blue Devils. Woo! And I despise the New York Yankees.
I don't mind the Yankees.
That's it.
They play in our division in baseball, so not.
I can get along with everybody else, but those are the ones. But and it sucks because everywhere I go, there's like a freaking Dallas Cowboys fan. Like, what are y'all doing?
We're everywhere.
You're like roaches.
We are here. Hello, good morning, Robert. Good morning,
morning,
Andrew.
Maker.
Andrew is up early. Andrew is up early. So DeAndre Hopkins on Instagram has followed all of the Dallas Cowboy players.
Well, he said he wants to go to Dallas,
and all of the players have followed him back. Yeah. As I said to my sports producer, I said, I think every player's dream is to play with a star on their helmet. He's like, is it though? Is it though? He goes, Jalen Ramsey. You could have had Jalen Ramsey. I said, well, we never had Jalen Ramsey. I got a lot of texts from people saying, "Oh, you didn't get Jalen Ramsey." Jalen Ramsey.
You don't need Jalen Ramsey.
Well, we don't need him. But
he'll do more harm.
He wanted to go home to Miami. That's what
he'll do. More harm than he will good because he's going to get himself in trouble more often than not. In the past 2 years, he has been exposed in one-on-one matchups with star receivers more than he has shut them down.
But he also wanted to go home to. He wanted to go home.
And that's great, and that's probably what he needs. Bring himself back.
And he wanted to leave a state. He wanted to leave a state that had the most income tax.
Dude, he's not a bad player. Don't get me wrong; he's phenomenal, but he carries an awful big price tag for what.
It's okay.
For what I think he's going to be able to bring.
Gilmore, and if we land D-Hop.
Stephon Gilmore 3 years ago was the best cornerback in football when he was with the Patriots.
He played well. He did well last year.
Yep.
So you know what? And we gave up a comp 5.
Gave up nothing for him.
I know.
I want to see who.
5. Wasn't even our pick. Wasn't even our pick. It was an extra.
I want to see what you guys are going to do for another running back.
I said this to Ray the other day.
And a tight end.
Well, Dalton may come back because the tight end market is.
I just want to see what happens.
No, I know the running back and the running back market is tanking, and the tight end market is tanking. I think
you'd be wise to get Kareem Hunt to back up Pollard.
There are some really good tight ends in this year's draft, which is why nobody's picking up Mike.
It's hard for a rookie tight end, though, Jeff. You know that. They say tight end is the hardest position to transfer college to the NFL because the speed and the strength is just on another level.
Some of these top kids, they're pro ready.
They said that about Pitts as well. And although he did have a good rookie season, I had him in fantasy that year. Teams shut him down because they knew that he was all that they had. So it's tough.
If you end up on a team where if he's the guy, then yes. But if you end up on a team where you've got a bunch of playmakers, so I could see Dalton coming back.
What are you going to do at quarterback?
I could also see. We're going to sign him for a 7-year extension, so that'll be awesome.
Tell Jerry to go throw it.
I could see a scenario. I've drawn up a scenario where Zeke comes back, but I also have a scenario where he goes to Tampa Bay. I said this to Ray. I would be okay because we got Pollard on the franchise. If we can land, which I don't think we could, but you never know with some maneuvering. Bijan Robinson, bring him in, let him be number 2 this year, behind Pollard. Then at the end of the year, let Pollard go. Bijan's the number 1 guy. We still got him on a rookie deal.
You got it all planned out.
So. Anyway,
let's get.
But we'll see what transpires around that. I'd be okay with D-Hop. I'd be okay with OBJ.
I know you would, but Jerry Jones already came out and screwed him up by saying that he wasn't healthy. So, and didn't Aaron Rodgers say that he wants Odell in New York? And there's just
there's
so much going on.
No. Did you watch? Were you one of the 500,000 people that watched Aaron on the Pat McAfee show?
I saw the tweets following up behind it. I watched the little clip of him saying what he said, but I didn't actually watch it live.
I did. Yeah, we watched it live. So he put all that to rest. He did not say that. He did not say they discussed players, but he didn't say here's the list of players that I want to have on my team. They didn't. He did not do that. And that was
they've already signed Lazard, right?
They did.
And
they needed another receiver to go with.
And they're looking to bring over who's the tight end? Who was his tight end last year? I can't even think of his name. It's not Rodgers. It's oh my gosh, is it Bennett?
The Jets are done making moves. They've got who they've got now.
Well, they were talking about his tight end last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then
there's been a lot of talk
Odell
about a lot of people
rumor.
He didn't. No. The funniest moment, the absolute funniest moment, was that report came out and somehow Adam Schefter got his cell number and texted him, and then he decided to call him, and Aaron responded said, "Lose my number, but nice try." And he actually said that, and then 5 minutes later, Schefter tweeted out the print screen of the text that says, "Yep, just yep, that is fact. Everything, just confirming what he just said."
Jeez, these guys get into it, don't they? Because they've got to report stuff.
good on Pat McAfee. 500,000 people watching his show. So
I like how he's getting sued by Brett Favre. I think that's funny.
It is true.
Slandering my name.
It is true. So
no, I don't think we got anything hockey this week, Callie, unfortunately, because the Canadian on the show doesn't ever want to talk about hockey.
I never said that. I never said that.
But we do want to talk about this
you know what?
SVB thing.
Shout out to the. Oh no, it's baseball. Never mind. Well, we'll talk hockey once we get into the playoffs.
Jeff, you're all over this next story here. SVB, who is Silicon Valley Bank, has
Silicon Valley Bank, Signature Bank.
Bank.
There's a few of them. There's a few of them that that this has happened to. Unfortunately,
I'm not sure what's going on. I keep trying to share my screen with you, and it keeps like going away.
Let me throw that on. Here you go.
Nice. Okay. So yeah, SVB, they file Chapter 11, right? That's one of the deepest ones you can go in.
Yep. So what happened? So two things happened. We'll talk about the second thing second. And this is not what they did is not wrong. It's what everybody does. You know, and our banking system in Canada is vastly different. So this could not happen in Canada. We have a we have a national banking system. So this kind of shit doesn't happen. But basically, they had billions of dollars, and what do? You invest it, right? If you have money, right, you do the drippy drip, right? You do the drippy drip. If you have money, you invest it, because you can't just sit on it. You want to make a return, so that way you can loan out more money, and you can do you can do whatever, which is fine. So they bought government-backed treasury bills at 1%. Beautiful. Making a 1% return on a few on many billions of dollars. It's bonus. But then interest rates went up. And when interest rates go up, what happens? The treasury bills go up. So they had all of these treasury bills for 1% on the open market now. They were all Squids is here saying bye.
Squids.
Now, problem is, Squids. Problem is, let me show that back. Problem is they couldn't sell it because you're trying to sell an apple for $1, whereas I've got apples. I'm paying you $5 for the apple. Squids is paying you $1 for the apple, right? You can't sell your apple because you have all these apples, and and that's what happened. And then billionaire Peter Thiel got wind of it, and he told all his companies to take their money out. So of course there was a big rush of
they were pulling everything right before
their money out.
Yep.
And then and of course Silicon Valley is very small, and everybody talked, and everybody heard what was going on. So then everybody else started to do it. They didn't have the money. No big deal. You sell your T-bills. They're going on the market. They're selling for $5. You're trying to sell them for $1, right? That's not going to happen. And they try to do a capital round, right? So if you know anything about, that kind of thing. So they tried to raise money from institutional investors to do it. That failed, and it all collapsed. And normally this doesn't happen because the regulators are watching. The regulators are, they're looking at all of your stuff, making sure you have the reserves and you have cash on hand, and you can do, if there's a big run, that you can stay liquid. Unfortunately, your government changed the rules, and they fell into, it used to be up to 150 billion. Then they changed it to, I may get my numbers a bit wrong, 250 billion. Of course, they're at 175, or maybe it was 200, and they were just below the threshold where somebody else had to look at it, and they basically could regulate themselves. And the funniest thing, one of the comments I heard was from somebody. She goes, "I'm a teacher. I don't let my students mark their own tests."
Yeah. It says at the bottom there under the picture, says SVB Financial Group says it has about 3.3 billion in funded debt.
Yep. Well, now people are going to scoop in, and they're going to buy up the debt. And
I added this after, because I hadn't really looked into this too much. So when you sent it over to me, I read the articles here and did a little bit of searching to find some more stuff. it looks like this is now the concern was everybody pulling everything right before this bankruptcy happened, right? Of course, that throws up
Correct.
huge red flags.
Correct.
But now it's causing them to look into things, and they're finding the money trail, and the money
Yes.
trail is now
Correct.
going to politicians.
Correct.
So there's
it was the same with the FTX that he SVB had done a whole bunch of shit. This is the TLA edition. So he had funded a lot of political campaigns and stuff like that.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And so I guess when I was reading through this article, and I'm majorly paraphrasing here, but I guess this senator in Arizona, she recently switched parties from Democrat to Independent because the Democratic Party was not happy with some of the things that she was associated with or she was doing with the money. And so there was like a red flag before the red flag, but you wouldn't have known about it unless you were looking for it. That's how this stuff all comes to light. It's crazy, the ins and outs of the dirty schemes and the money laundering and everything else that go on. This SVB, Silicon Valley Bank, was founded in 1983, right? So this is 40 years. It hasn't been like that all 40 years.
No. I'm having charger issues.
It's probably been something 10. Hey, Bruce, it's probably been something 10, 12, 15 years, something like that.
Well, and your government, of course, came out on Sunday and said that all the deposits, even though it's even the ones that are, because we insure them the same amount. Our government insures bank deposits. Even Kevin O'Leary came out and said, folks, that's why you don't put all your money in one bank. You spread your money around spreading. You don't like Kevin O'Leary?
He said, "Oh, I love him." He said something the other day that I laughed at. He goes, the best way to be smart with your money is don't. I'm going to screw this up. It was don't buy anything you don't need if you still have debt. Or it was essentially saying, like, if you have credit card bills, stop going out and buying the latest video game that's out there. To kind of make that comparison, and it's just one of those things. It's common sense, but it's like when he said it, it was like light bulb, like.
Correct.
Wow, maybe
you always business school. We always learn pay yourself first. In business school, we always learn pay yourself first. If you want a good, 5-minute synopsis of this, CoffeeZilla, if you know the CoffeeZilla guy. He did a good 5-minute, breakdown of what exactly happened. This was a while ago. This is before the Chapter 11. He's probably got a new video. So he explained it quite well. Probably the best I ever heard.
I have a feeling that a lot of this is going to.
Bruce and I are lucky this doesn't happen in Canada.
I think a lot of this is still going to happen. There's a lot of these. This is a pretty large establishment, right? But there's a lot of these smaller ones. The FTC, that guy Sam, whatever, like the stuff that's still falling out from that. FTX, there you go. There's a lot going on in banking and fake banking and all the crypto banking and it's like every day something new. My son hit me the other day. He was like, "Dad, we should buy some crypto." And I'm like, "Yeah, why?" And he goes, "Because I heard it's like $1 right now." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm telling you, it's not quite that easy, buddy."
What was I going to say? A bunch of YouTubers are being sued because they had sponsor deals with FTX, or they talked about it on their channels. So your Meet Kevins, your Graham Steffens, the crypto guy,
all the streamers, Jeff. I don't.
Things like that. Those guys.
Bruce, you see Bruce's comment there?
Yeah. I'm just gonna pull it up. SVB withdrawal $2.2 billion from it right before the collapse. Yep.
We were talking about everybody pulling the money early.
Dude is done. Got that right.
Yeah.
So a bunch of these, they're already suing, the other, like the Kevin O'Leary, the Tom Brady's, the other, the other big names.
Dude, what a racket though for somebody that young to get that deep in what he did, and for people to actually like believe that, hey man, I've got, $30 billion. It's just laying around. I just want to give it to you. Like, what? You're 26 years old. How are you? I don't know. It just, the more I hear about the story, I'm just like, how does this even happen?
Mm-hmm. If it's too good to be true, it probably is.
There's a lot of naivety out there,
So I was at I don't know. I think you have them in the States. Bed Bath and Beyond.
Yeah.
They went bankrupt. And
oh really?
They went bankrupt, and they, so I was there, and because
you were there when it went bankrupt.
I was there when it went bankrupt. I was there last Sunday at the store picking up a couple of deep discounted cat toys.
Probably laying in one of the beds under the covers, scaring people when they came by.
Yeah, pretty much. And they had a frequent point system or something plus coupons, and you had up until March 9th to use it. And it was after March 9th. It was whatever last Sunday was, and this guy was getting mad at the cashier, and he goes, "That's not right. That's not right." And I said, "Buddy, that's how liquidation works."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Well, but they should still accept it." And I said, "No." I said, "If the liquidator hadn't stepped in, you wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here. The doors would be closed. But the liquidator bought it. He's liquidating anything, and he doesn't own that. That's gone. That accounting."
Yep.
I said, "You know what? You should take a business course, dude, if you want to understand how this works." I said, but in 30 seconds, I explained to him how liquidation works. And he goes, "Oh, I know all that." No, clearly you don't, because you're still fighting to get you to use your coupon, which doesn't work. It's done. The company doesn't exist anymore. But it says I said, that's just name only. Bed Bath & Beyond does not exist as a company anymore. They're done. Just like Eaton's. Can you use your Eaton's coupon?
I don't know what Eaton's is.
Oh, well, yeah. It's I'm trying to think of a store that
is it like a pharmacy, like a CVS or something, or
no? It was a big grocery store like Sears.
Oh,
can you use your Sears card? Can you use your Sears coupon?
Yeah.
No, because they're it may say Bed Bath and Beyond.
You know what though? I have a Sears catalog from 1997, and I still want those prices honored.
Yeah, Bruce, you know what? Hang on to your Bitcoin. It will rebound.
Definitely.
Just hang on.
Bruce, I have drip. I do the drip.
Bruce, don't get him started on the drip. He is
thing. But no, I'm serious. I just keep rotating it and putting it right back in, and then one day when it comes up, then I'll pull a little bit out. But no, I'm not letting anything happen to that. Shoot. I've been hydrating way too much. Jeff, I'm up over I'm up over 1,200 drip now. I started with 3.
There you go.
That's pretty good.
There you go.
All right, what do we got? What do we got next? We got a quick flash up for the GDC, the Game Developers Conference.
Shout out to Ray in San Francisco. All the cool shit happens in San Francisco. Ray is right there, the epicenter of all the good shit that's happening, and I'm so jealous of Ray.
This is where Ray is going to get to find out all the latest news about Google Stadia and the new games that are coming out, and the new deal that they got with Activision Blizzard to bring Call of Duty to Stadia for 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
I'm just playing. Gosh.
Excellent.
No, but I did want to call this out, because I mean, it's called the Game Developers Conference, and whenever these things pop up, everybody gets excited because they see game, and they don't really like look into what it is. So,
no.
Who should attend the GDC? Little lesson here, Jeff, if you will. Game designers, programmers, business and marketing professionals. So Jeff will be at the GDC. Producers and team studio managers, visual artists, writers and storytellers, independent developers, sound designers, engineers, and composers, virtual and augmented reality creators. Ooh, there you go. Game educators, career seekers, and vendor company sponsors and recruiters. Essentially, This is the networking event for the video game industry.
Pretty much.
Yep.
There will be no game announcements because, remember other years Google would do something and there'd be some, we're gonna go and watch and we're gonna find out about the new Stadia games. No, that's and people like me and Jack would remind people, you're not gonna get game announcements. Oh, well, we might get a game. No, we won't get a game announcement. You dumbass. It's not what this
I will be honest.
Oh, but they might. No. They won't.
What was the one event that they did? It was a Google event, and it was like all outside on their campus right after COVID, and they just kept going like location to location, and there'd be like a stage set up with a few employees. Do you remember that event?
I think that was Google I/O.
Was it Google I/O? I did watch that with the hope that they were going to at least show like a freaking controller or something, with what they were doing. Not that they were going to announce games, but I just wanted to see them talk about the product as a part of their lineup. And when they didn't, that's when I started to kind of be like, okay, man, they just don't like associate themselves with this, Well,
that's
so I will admit that one I did.
That's also not the point of it, but
I get it. I get it now. But at the time when that happened, I was looking for because, they were talking about the data centers and they were talking about like the new engineering in the data centers. And they were taking like a tour of like the racks and stuff. And it was like, oh, this is the kind of stuff that would be good for Stadia, right? Like, no, we're not going to mention it. Oh, shit. So anyway, the GDC, it'll be going on. They'll talk about a lot of cool, advancements in tech. They'll talk about tools designed to help the designers, the programmers. Google Cloud might be at this event to talk about how they're going to use Google Cloud to push forward development tools, right? But no game stuff.
No game stuff. Sorry.
All right,
no
Jeffy.
Game stuff. No game stuff.
Hey, did you hear about? I
heard about lots of stuff.
I got to come up with a better segue into that one.
I like it.
Hey, did you hear about? All right. What did the Hulkster hear about this week? You shared this with me. You actually put me on to this story. Diamond Sports Group, which owns Bally Sports. Bally Sports is a network that hosts local sporting events in baseball, basketball, and hockey. Callie, hockey. That's where I'm going with this. There you go. I did have hockey news. So they filed for bankruptcy. This is one of those things that's not surprising as somebody that has Bally Sports, and I've watched the games and it's the only way that we can watch our local games. They have it blacked out for ESPN Plus. And so I didn't realize that. I went and bought a subscription to ESPN Plus because I saw the value in it, because my kids are watching a lot of sports, like collegiate sports. I want to watch hockey games. So I was like, hey, there's value here. Plus I get to watch all the ESPN shows. I've gotten to watch the XFL behind the scenes shows. There's value there. And so I wanted to make sure that I made a smart decision, got ESPN Plus. Hi, Jim. And then
Jim's a longtime viewer,
long-time viewer.
Long-time viewer, first-time chatter. Yeah. First-time caller.
I go to watch ESPN Plus. I go to watch the Hurricanes games, and it's blacked out. So I have to go and get the Bally Sports subscription if I want to watch the Hurricanes locally. Yep. We originally were with Fox Sports South, and I got YouTube TV because they had Fox Sports South, and then the whole merger happened. They lost Fox Sports South. They go to Bally. It's just been a nightmare, man. And so this is the thing that excites me right here, is that when it specifically comes to the NBA and NHL games, the league is going to have to step in, and they're going to have to do something, because right now ESPN has the rights to carry out of market games, but not in market games. And they already have a deal in place with the NHL, and there's only a couple more weeks to the season, and then it's playoffs, and the playoffs are on national TV anyway, right? So this isn't going to happen until next year. But if they make it to where ESPN Plus gets to carry the in-market games, it just adds so much more value to that subscription, and ultimately goes back to what you were talking about last week, where ESPN wants to be like this hub of sports. You know, we want you to watch all live sports through ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
That's another step closer to that too. So
yeah. Up here we have TSN, the sports network. They've got the TSN Plus, which is limited, which is free right now. So I'm able to watch the XFL. I'll be able to watch USFL. Shout out to the XFL. Those are some stellar games. If you're not watching XFL, you're not.
And they're doing a great job with the league too. Let's not discredit. They're pushing information. They're really like getting you to know some of the players, and like it's they've done a great job so far for this rebrand.
That they have, and
a relaunch.
What else? And I've been able to watch all the March Madness games, so that's why I have good thing I have 4 televisions. So
gosh, the March Madness
this one crossed my desk, as you know, stuff crosses my desk, and I'm like, you know what, gotta throw this here because this affects you directly. So
it does. So that's you know,
people often wonder how big my desk is because I pull up, I reference stuff, and I'm like, oh, did you see this? And people are like, no, I have a life.
Well, again, it sucks for people that work there or whatever. I mean, people's lives will be affected. But as the consumer, I am ecstatic about the possibility of just watching my games in one place. So
you would be.
You also want to throw another shout back to the March Madness. They're saying there's I think it's even larger than this now. It's almost 200 million rising up because they just continue to rake in money off of this thing. So
Michigan just went live a couple of weeks ago, so you can start betting in Michigan too, legally through the apps and things, right? So that helped our friends in Michigan.
That's insane. I threw out to you last night that the women's World Cup is now going to there's like a 33% pay increase for the prize pool. Which is a big victory for the women, right? And then they follow that up by saying, "Oh, but the men are still at 350 million." It's like you just can't let people enjoy their moment, can you, man? Right? Like these women have busted their ass trying to fight for their equal opportunity, and then you just have to throw in there, but the men still get more. Like, jeez, it's ridiculous. Anyway, 170, 200 million, whatever it is. All that money is going to go to schools. It's not going to go to any of these student athletes that are busting their ass for the names that are on the front of their jerseys. And
you know what? But some of these but
some of the new NIL deals.
Some of the new NIL deals. There's some of these kids that are going to become. They're going to become stars, and they're going to get. You're not going to hear about it nationally, but in small town New Jersey, they might land a deal with a car dealership and make $100,000 or $50,000 or something with some localized stuff. So yes, with the
you should definitely be able to monetize off of your own likeness. I've never seen a problem with that. My problem is always going to be with the institution itself.
Yes.
Because there is no way, shape, or form that they are putting as much back into these student athletes as what they are receiving.
And you will have one of those NCAA student athletes or two in a few years.
I hope so.
So you'll be out hawking.
I'll keep you posted.
You'll be out hawking Riley around North Carolina for NIL.
I might need to have a conversation with you about my son's birthday in a few years. His dream is to play pond hockey, so I might need to figure out a way to get him north of the border and find myself a pond that he can play some pond hockey.
Nice. Okay.
I'm sure I can find 1 or 5 somewhere.
I'm sure you can.
What else do we have? Rule change proposals for the NFL. This is something. It's done every year, right? Every year it's done. The one 2 years ago was about the playoff. The playoff overtime. Each team should be able to get a possession, without it ending on the first play. You can see here that the Eagles put in a couple. One of them is to allow jersey numbers such as 0 and to allow kickers to be able to have jersey numbers larger than 20. But I thought the second one was interesting.
Oh, go ahead.
About the instead of the onside kick attempt, allowing them to have 1 4th and 20 play from the 20-yard line. And that's exactly what the XFL is doing. So it's to your point that they're doing a great job with that league. They've had 7-8 weeks so far, and there's already been the NFL team that has said, "Oh, we like that idea. Let's do this."
That was in there last year. This is not the first time that's appeared.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
They brought it up before. One of the other ones that I like is having pass interference be reviewable.
Yeah.
And giving some more autonomy to the replay ref to be able to make the decision instead of going under the hood. Because there's a lot of times, like, we know, but they still got to go under the hood and they still got to look it up. And it's just like, no. And I like the idea because there's some pass interference plays. And we're like, really, you just looked at Tom, and that's always my joke. And I'm like, Micah Parsons is going to look at Tom Brady, and they're going to be pass interference, first down. Tampa Bay wins the playoff game because all Micah did was just look at him. Like, oh, you looked at Tom wrong way, flag. Because there's sometimes the guy barely hits him, and they're like roughing the passer, defense. It's like, fuck off. So making that reviewable, I think, is good. A few of the others, I don't think that 4th and 15. I don't think it'll fly yet.
No,
I don't think there's enough.
I do think if I like the XFL kickoff idea.
Oh, their kickoff where everybody stops and then there's the box. The ball goes in the box.
Yes, and you can't move until the person catches it.
Correct.
It adds a different layer of competitiveness to it. But it is safer. It's ultimately safer at the end of the day. I don't think
that's why
anyone needs to be running 30 miles an hour at each other and slamming into each other.
90% of kickoffs end out of bounds. They just kick them out of the end. They just kick them out of the end zone. Just move it out of the end zone.
Well, they moved the line forward, right? So they could, because that was their solution. All right, if the kicker can kick it out, you don't have to worry about returning it.
Exactly.
I like what the XFL has done with their kickoff. I think it's smart.
Question on the screen for you.
I did see that. So what hockey team would be on my hate list? I think right now I'm going to have to go with the Boston Bruins because I am not a fan of Brad Marchand, and I think everything that man does should be like a suspension. And I don't know that I would say hate. I have a lot of respect for the Boston Bruins. Patrice Bergeron. He is probably the best face-off center in the league. He's one of the best in the history of the league. Ullmark is having a outstanding season this year. Not a big fan of Charlie McAvoy, and I don't like some of the nastiness that some of those players can bring. I also hate that they got
two capitals. Got a thumbs down from It's Just Joe.
What? Joe?
Or we will get
it. Hey, Sean.
We will get a thumbs down from It's Just Joe.
We will.
As the Boston guy.
They're the best team in the league, so they've got a big old target on their back right now.
Haven't spent time in Boston.
I've moved on from the team aspect as much. When I talk about professional sports now, I like the Hurricanes because we live here and I really like a lot of the players they have on their team, but professionally overall, I just root for players now. It's much easier that way. Because I can respect the athletes, right? Without getting caught up on what symbol is on their jersey. So, like there's players on the Cowboys that I like, I grew up a Redskins fan. How can you expect me to like the Cowboys?
True that.
I'm always gonna root against them. It's just how it's gonna be. All right, what else do we have? We got a few more of these things. I was getting sidetracked. Let's see. Oh, this is a good one.
This will be a quick one.
Yeah, this is a good one. So Commanders linebacker John Bostic. He is developing this place called the Wellington Sports Academy in Florida. It's a $38 million training facility for the youth. He's using all of his money to build this. He was tired of when he was trying to come up, having to run here, there, and everywhere to get to the trainer, get to the physician, get to the field. So he wanted to put it all in one place. It's a great story. Looks like a huge facility. It's going to have multiple different types of sporting that you can do. Look, 7 basketball courts, volleyball courts, multi-purpose fields, baseball, softball. You got a almost 14,000 square foot gym, recovery center, cafe, esports lounge. Esports is a kind of a shocker to see in there, right? Because this is a sports academy. We talked about esports being a sport the other week. Let's just keep it in perspective a little bit. As nice as this is still a business, and it's still going to make money.
Oh yeah, and it's not all his money.
Yeah,
it's not all his money. And I think we're going to see more of these. I don't know if you caught JJ guest hosting on Pat McAfee yesterday. But you know, he's retired, but he says he has all these, he's having these business meetings and this and that. Yeah. And so I think more of these current and former athletes are going to use some of their money to better neighborhoods and put stuff back in. So I think in the next decade, I think we're going to see a lot more of these just to help the up and coming athletes. If
you think to look it up, Jeff, look up Calvert Sports Academy or Calvert Ice Academy, something like that. It's being built here in North Carolina. They're going to have 4 hockey rinks, and it's actually going to be a school. Like, it's going to be a school that you can be boarded at. Right in my backyard. They're looking at bringing international players and players from across the country in to, you know, have them hone their craft in their winter sports as well as get an education, a high level education, right? So it's going to be like a private school, but it's all winter sports. And it's like, it's crazy. We're in the South, man. Like, it's hot down here. Like, but we're going to have like this winter sports capital of this school. So
I have a hard time calling North Carolina the South. I have a hard time because you have North in the name. And every time you say I'm in the South, dude, I'm like, you're North.
You know what it is that it's the imaginary Mason-Dixon line, and it all goes back to the Civil War, right? So North Carolina was a Confederate state. It's in the South. It's south of the Mason-Dixon line. That's where it comes from. So there you go. All right. So that's a cool story. And we've got, there's your boy, Aaron Rodgers. There he says in his interview on the Pat McAfee show, I've made
500,000 people watching that
Friday. My intention is to play for the New York Jets. I don't think it gets any clearer than that. I'll be glad when the drama's over. I'm tired of hearing about it.
Yep.
Ja, we talked about Ja last week. The NBA suspended him 8 games for conduct detrimental to the league for him brandishing that firearm in the strip club. I've got a lot of feelings about this that I've developed in the last week. Number one, you know, those 8 games included the ones that he was already out. So that is, you know, no more time than what was necessary to miss. But my problem that I have with this stems from the actual strip club, the establishment itself, releasing that video and the pictures from the video. Like, why as an establishment, as an adult entertainment establishment, would you want to out a person that just spent a shit ton of money in because now my thing is, yes, and they might have gotten paid for that video or they might have gotten paid for that photo, but now you've just hurt your credibility with all of your high-end clientele. Why is anybody going to want to come spend money there if they're afraid that you're just going to sell their picture out? So I'm not defending anything. I'm not saying Ja's right or anything. There's just no privacy anymore. There's no privacy, especially when you are these guys.
I'm glad in the 90s there was no cell phones and social media.
Oh, somewhere ex-girlfriend of mine still has a note that I wrote her on some loose leaf paper, folded up in an airplane or something. It's going to be an antique one day.
One day.
Yeah. And then my favorite story of the week is the last one I've got for you. It seems imminent that this PLS is finally going to sell the team.
I'll have to remember the gun brandishing in my Duke Nukem movie.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, right after your Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
It seems like he's cleared out his office. There's no trace of them anymore. So it sounds like it's not going to be Jeff Bezos.
It won't, because he owns the Washington Post, and Dan Snyder does not like the Washington Post. So he's already said, I'm not selling it to you.
Yeah.
Which is funny, because you saw
Bezos is waving $8 billion.
Oh, you saw Bezos up in that box with Goodell on those Thursday night games. So, I was born a Washington Redskins fan. I grew up 12 miles southwest of DC, the DC line. I spent a lot of time at RFK Stadium as a kid. I spent a lot of time at what is, FedEx Field. It used to be Jack Kent Cooke Stadium when it was first built. That was a little bit further away from my house, but we had season tickets. The RG3 rookie year, one of the most amazing times I had as a Redskins fan. I went to the game Troy Aikman's rookie year. He went 1-15 as a starter. Jeff, do you know what team he beat? Washington Redskins. I was at that game, and that was the first game back for Doug Williams after the Super Bowl win, because he had some surgery in the offseason. So it was such a huge game. My dad took me. Doug Williams is back. We just won the Super Bowl. We're playing the shitty Cowboys. This Troy Aikman kid that's not winning anything. It's going to be great. And he punched us in the mouth, and I had to be there.
Love it.
All in all, I used to bleed burgundy and gold. I was a huge Redskins fan, one of the biggest in my mind. I despise this man. I don't like to throw the word hate around, but I will say that I really strongly do not like this man. I don't like everything that he's about. I've never liked everything that he's about. He ruined a once proud franchise, one that I grew up adoring, and I hope that he is freaking miserable. But I know he's not, because he's got like a gazillion dollars. So, he'll sell the team, he'll make a shit ton of money, and he'll go off and, do blow off a stripper's asses on his yacht or whatever he wants to do. I don't care. I'm so glad that this POS finally has to suck his own.
Gotta put that in my Duke Nukem movie. Maybe I should put that in my Hallmark movie. Nice. Just making notes for my Hallmark movie. Thanks.
You're fine. I got a lot of ideas for you, Jeff. So anyway, this could not make me any happier, and it's not going to make me like the team again unless they change that god awful name. But shout
out to Crow. I should have renamed this. I need to add another thing. This is the section where Ryzak goes off. So I need to. I changed it back. Did you hear about? But I need to put it back. The Rose comment from last week. Because every week you seem to go off about something, which is awesome.
Gosh, man, there's just so much. There's so much,
and I don't even have time to do my rant about the guy that wants to sue Buffalo Wild Wings because their boneless wings are just nuggets. I don't even have time to go off on that clown.
And we talked about that a little bit last night because I brought up the McDonald's lady that sued for the hot coffee. It's like, how? Come on, man.
Yeah. Okay, so chat. You guys have 5 questions. You guys got 5 guesses. So Jim, Andrew, Sean. I didn't even spell this one to Crow yesterday. So Crow's gonna have to watch the VOD and come back. Here we go. You got 5 guesses. Top. This is adequate. Of all time in the history of the world. What are we? 2022, 2,200, 2023 years. Top innovations. Top innovations of all time.
For all time?
All time.
The airplane.
No.
What? Oh my gosh. The light bulb.
The bulb was number 2.
Fire.
No.
The wheel.
Good guess by Sean, but no. No wheel either.
Okay, so I've said 4. I've said 3.
I'm not counting the wheel and the fire. You're just being an idiot. I'm not counting those. I'm not.
Okay. The printing press. Yeah! Woo!
Johann Gutenberg, the
Number
movable print,
one.
the printing press. And then,
Okay,
and
so
when I first saw it, I was like, yeah, printing press number one. It was the greatest
Yeah.
invention of the 19th century. So when we hit 2000, they were talking about it of all the it was the number one invention, and it's still number one. Sean, you need to be more. Sean, you need to be
education
more specific. Sean, you need to be more specific.
education grew after the
Yeah,
printing press, right? Because now
correct.
they were able to mass publish
Correct. So you got the
books
first two.
so it was printing press and it was electricity or light bulb.
No, light bulb. Yeah, Sean needs to be a bit more specific.
The automobile.
Number 6.
Okay, so that was just outside.
Mm-hmm.
The microwave.
No.
Damn, really?
Yeah.
Air conditioning.
No.
How about
Bruce Campbell rolling in. Bruce Campbell rolling in at number 7.
I don't have the chat open. I took us
Okay.
off the screen.
Right. Yeah.
Oh gosh. How about like the cotton gin?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
A distillery.
Sean says free labor. No, that's not an innovation.
How about our theme from the strip club? Strip club, greatest invention known to man. No. Just playing. I don't like strip clubs.
No. What's that thing on your desk?
My computer.
There you go. Number 3.
Telephone.
Number 4.
Wow.
And how are we talking?
Video chat. The internet.
There you go. Number 5.
Wow.
Yep.
So technology did reach in there.
Yep.
But the printing press. I'm not shocked about the printing press. I'm not shocked about the light bulb. I guess it just depends on, again, who's making the list and what's the criteria.
It's the same. My lists all come from the same 100 people.
Yeah.
One of them is Neil deGrasse Tyson. Another one is some other dudes I've never heard of, and some lady's the editor of some thing I never heard of, and Sean.
The cotton gin should have been on there, man.
Sean had
that
number
was a revolutionary.
7. Sean had number 7 with the steam engine.
Oh, steam engine. Oh, I should have said the railroads. Yeah.
Number 8.
What did everybody say?
Number 8 is the radio.
Ooh, okay.
Number 9.
Is it radio? Is it radio television?
No.
Or were they separate? Okay.
Just radio. Television was television wasn't on it.
Okay.
Number 9, the telegraph.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right? And number 10. You use it every day, several times a day.
The toilet.
Not just the toilet.
The flushing water. The bathroom.
The flushable
water.
Because they've had toilets for thousands of years.
Yeah, the outhouse.
Right? But it was the flushing toilet was number 10. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good list. I like that.
That's my list. Top innovations of all time. David Suzuki. Outside of Canada, nobody knows who David Suzuki is.
Good effort by Sean and Bruce in the chat there.
Yeah.
Highways, electricity, highways. I would have thought just like the roads, like travel. That would have been something that would have been.
Well, they had automobile at number 6.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No airplane, which some people argued should have been on the list, but.
Yeah, I'm surprised because, and I say that because, I live in North Carolina. The Wright Brothers Museum is in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, which is right at the Outer Banks, and that was just such an engineering victory, right?
Mm-hmm. The phonograph.
Think about how much time is saved in planes.
Phonograph never made it. Not the telegraph.
No.
Hey, 2 wrongs don't make a right, but what do 2 rights make?
A wrong.
An airplane.
Oh my God. You're gonna make a square if you start turning right.
No, that's not. That's NASCAR.
Oh,
That's
God.
NASCAR.
No, they turn left, Jeff. They turn left in NASCAR.
They do left turns. That's all left turns. That's right. Don't get Don't get Dandroid and Dismal talking about
F1.
They don't like. They're a big F1 guys. They don't like.
Yeah.
They don't like that. But yeah,
all you Euros and non-Americans.
That's my list.
That was a good list, Jeff.
I told you
that was a good list.
And I'm all over the place with my little top 10 lists.
It was fun. It's interesting because like I don't know what you're gonna ask me, right? So my mind is going like I'm like, all right, am I talking candy this week? Am I talking, like what could he possibly ask me about? Like I have to act smart real quick. That's tough.
That's right. We don't know what we don't know. And sometimes I float my list by Crow Resin when we're gaming, when we're driving a truck. When we're doing a 5-hour convoy. Sometimes, we need something to talk about. So sometimes I'll throw out what I'm going to talk about my questions this week. And I didn't get a chance to do that. So when he comes back and watches the VOD, it'll be interesting to see what he thinks of his. Andrew Voss, you never gave us an answer of your top innovations. But yeah, the printing press, Johann Gutenberg, still number one. Because like you said.
What are you going to be up to this week? You got your normal streams, right? So you've got
my normal
Monday,
streams. Yeah, Monday. I think
Wednesday.
Monday we're going to do Red Dead, and I think Wednesday we're going to go because it's on sale, and a few more people may pick it up. And we're going to drive. We're going to drive in Europe. We're going to drive in Europe. Yeah, we're going to drive.
I would love to join you. I won't be able to join you on Wednesday.
Maybe drive by David
I'm still going to pick it up because it's only $5.99. So
don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget.
Do you have Retro Rewind tomorrow?
We do have Retro Rewind tomorrow.
Who do you have on the show?
We got Nerds World and another person I don't know, another retro gamer coming from Miss Tracy's world.
Nice.
So Nerds World is going to be on, and this other fellow, awesome. I forget his name. I apologize in advance for him. But yeah, we're going to be talking all things retro tomorrow.
Great.
So 3:00 Eastern.
I will be living at my kids' high school next week. I have a lacrosse game to announce on Monday. I've got a hockey or a soccer game to announce on Tuesday. I've got another lacrosse game. No, it's lacrosse Monday. It's lacrosse Tuesday. It's soccer Wednesday, and then it's soccer Friday. So we're going to be living at the.
He's got to pull up the Google the shared Google Calendar so he can.
I legit had to look up. My wife's got it all. My wife's like super organized, man. She's got like everything written on this little calendar because I can't keep track of everything that we've got going on right now.
By written on a calendar, you mean a shared Google Calendar, right? Like.
No, it's actually legit written on a desk calendar, Jeff. It's like a desk calendar.
You guys need a shared Google Calendar.
We do, and we put it all in there too, but. This is so handy. It just sits right here because we share the desk. It's like a tea desk. So she keeps me honest.
There you go. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your Saturday, folks.
Absolutely.
Thanks everybody for watching, either live or on replay. Because I see the analytics and tells me who watched it after we were live. The two of you.
Jeff, St. Patrick's Day was yesterday. You can take the green off now.
I'll wear it all. When I
St. Patrick's Day weekend in the Genetic household.
Yeah, pretty much. I got my.
I saw those earlier.
Yeah, got my little. Sunday night when I put on the new pajamas. When I put on the new pajamas on Sunday, then I'll change. But I'll wear these all weekend. Sunday is new pajama day because I just sit at home and I do. I just sit at home and there's a fish and chip place that we found here in Hamilton that I started going to, and they now expect me in whatever weird pajamas and they keep asking me like, no St. Patrick's onesie? They're like, no Valentine's onesie? Because I went on Valentine's Day and I got the fish and chips, and I went last night and got fish and
fries, Jeff. Fish and fries.
And fish and fries. Yes, I got fish and fries. And I'm like, those are just one-day events. I'm not going to get a onesie for a one-day event. Christmas, I milked for a month. And they're like, but so they are not surprised. And the one time I went when it was just a regular old Saturday or something, and they're like, you own normal clothes? They were and I've only known them. I've gone like 4 or 5 times. They already know who the hell I am, and they just expect me to come in some, because I'm old and I don't give a crap
Hey,
anymore.
Jeff's back! Yay!
I'm old and I don't care, and I just go around in my pajamas.
Oh my gosh!
Because we are in the middle of a pandemic.
It's still a pandemic, yes.
Yeah, I know. Everyone else says it's over, and they're just going to suck it up and live with it. And if they get it, they get it, and this, that, and the other. And that is.
I've had it twice. I figure if I get it one more time, that's it, right? 3 strikes, you're out. So I'm doing everything I can not to get COVID.
No, do you fill out your punch card? Is there like a punch card for the number of times you get it? When you get 3, then you get like a free slice of pizza or something?
When I was a kid in PE class, we used to have to do a ticket run, and our teacher would stand at one point on the track with one of those single hole punches. And he would give us a 3x5 index card, and we had to run around the track. And every time we got around to him, he would punch a hole, right? The idea was to see how many you could get. And there was a benchmark. So if you got over a certain amount, then something happened. If you were in this range, you got, this grade or whatever. So me and this other kid always used to see how many times we could get, because I was a bit of a long distance runner. And we would be fighting to see if we could get him to punch the whole card all the way through. So we'd be doing like 30 laps around the track in the class, and I just remember his hole punch. So when you said you have the card, that's the memory that popped into my head of the teacher sitting there, or the guy on you've probably seen the train movie around Christmas, the one that Tom Hanks does, the animated one, where he's like punching the little designs in the ticket with his hole punch. Yes, the COVID.
I've not seen that in a few years. I forgot about that one.
You should. The Polar Express, that's the name.
Polar Express. There you go. Yeah, it's been a while. All right, folks. Enjoy your
See y'all.
Saturday. Callie, we will hook up later, and we will convoy up later tonight. I don't think
for
there's
destruction.
Else. Yeah. For destruction.
All destruction when Callie's involved.
Can't wait to see him drive in Europe.
That'll
be awesome.
Bye, guys. Have a good one.
Oh, that's right. It keeps. Why don't you just do